Hello friends, contrary to what you may have been told, you can make a lot of money with YouTube Shorts and short form content. And I bring this up anytime I talk about money, but you can make that hopefully through helping people and providing something of value and providing good content. I know this is a business channel, but some people hear money and they immediately tune out, or they hear make lots of money and they immediately tune out. They think it's a scam, they think you're conning people. All this, hopefully, I encourage people to do through helping people and providing good things in the world. Now, I want to talk about YouTube Shorts because if you're not familiar with who I am, just happen to see this video, I have built a business and a channel primarily, at least first, through short form content, and I grew that into more things. We now have products, long form videos across many different topics. And we've been blessed enough so far to continue to grow the business and take care of our wonderful team because they take care of me. Now, before I get into how shorts can make money, it might be helpful to understand why people say they don't make money, or at least don't make a lot of money. And part of the reason, or a big part of the reason, is because advertisers pay less per shorts view. So if you're familiar with YouTube and how they pay content creators, there's CPM and RPM, and RPM is basically how much you make per 1,000 views. So for long form, I think the average on YouTube is $2 or $3 per 1,000 views. It really does depend on the type of video, how long it is, and the genre that the video is in. But let's say you have a $3 RPM and you get 100,000 views on a video. That video would make around $300, just from ad revenue in this case. And shorts operate a little bit differently, but you can still track how much you're making per shorts view, or per 1,000 views rather, and the number is usually much lower. You can look it up, but I believe the average RPM for shorts on YouTube is something like 5 cents per 1,000 views. So compared to $3, that's quite a bit of difference. I'm gonna do some quick math with my calculator. So that's 60 times less, or 60 times more if you get the same amount of views on a long form video as you do from short form. But as you can see, there's a little bit of trade-off here because people can view more shorts. They are shorter, so people can view them very quickly. But I also want to talk about why this is. It isn't just because advertisers decided randomly that they'll pay less per shorts view, but think about you as a consumer. By the way, I say advertisers because this is from ad revenue, so how much advertisers are paying YouTube and how much you're willing to pay to have a spot on your video or near your video influences how you're paid and how much money you're making. But it's not randomly decided. Think about you as a consumer. If you're watching a long video and you're really immersed in this good long video, it might not have the most views, but for you as a consumer, you really like the person that's talking or the team that's talking, you really like the content, and you might trust them more. And during this time, if something is advertised to you, you might feel more connected with the content, and you are solely focused, perhaps, on this video rather than shorts where you're viewing many different shorts from many different content creators, many different channels, many different types at a time. So if it's one ad on a long form YouTube video, you can usually get more targeted results, and people usually pay more for that. Whereas through shorts, any number of things can happen. The ads they show might not be directly related to your short. Your short video might be very short and might be good, but it just makes people laugh and they don't really necessarily want or need to see more of that series, and they just feel more disconnected from the content. This isn't necessarily bad. Again, I make both short form and long form content. I'm still probably a primarily short form creator, as most people would know me. So I'm not saying it's good or bad or this is right. This is just how the money is right now. So with those metrics, you would have to get 60 times as many views on a short form video as you would from an equivalent long form video to make the same amount of money. So 100,000 views on a long form video to make an equivalent amount of money, you would have to get 6 million views on a short form video. Now, if you're familiar with both long form and short form content, you'll see that this isn't necessarily unreasonable because that long form video to get 100,000 views, depending on how loyal your audience is, depending on the genre you have, education versus entertainment, 100,000 views on that video might take you a reasonable amount of time. It depends on the type of content creator, of course, but it usually takes more time to make, say, a 9, 10, 11-minute video, 12-minute video to prep for that, research for that, script for that, and film it, rather than a short that gets 6 million views. Really, sometimes you just film it in real time. Sometimes it's done on your phone. And there are some content creators who do comedy skits like that or just record their thoughts, and they get millions of views because of that. So while 60 times the amount of views might seem tremendous, you see there's also a difficulty adjustment. It's easier to get 6 million views on a short rather than a long form video. People can view more of them, they can view them more quickly. As a result, you can get more shorts views. Another thing to note is that I gave averages there. Mine are a bit different. So my RPM for long form videos is around $4 as a fitness channel on hybrid calisthenics. That doesn't mean all videos can be calculated that way. Some are a little bit lower, some are higher. My highest one that I've seen is like $30 actually. So it depends on the type of video that you're making too. not just the type of channel. Now that's RPM, not CPM, so that's important. CPM, it will be higher than RPM, and I think my CPM nowadays is like 12, 13. It has gone up over time. There are different reasons why that might be, but I want to get into my shorts RPM because that was something that did start around 5 cents, 6 cents. But over time, it has actually gone up to, I think my most recent short was 16 cents RPM. And again, there are different reasons why that might be, but that might also apply to you. So you might not have to do the 60 times multiple. In my case, it'd be a 25 time multiplier to get from 16 cents to $4. Another thing to note, because I've been trying to do more long form content, not necessarily for money, but because I feel like it's a way to bond with my community more, and I can talk more, I can go more in depth. That has been a criticism, a very fair one, I think, that people like the short fitness videos I put out, but sometimes they wish there was more detail, and I fully get that. But some people also want the concise information, maybe a little bit entertaining, so that's why I like to do the shorts and the long form. But it's not quite that simple, because again, I've been doing shorts and long form for a while now, and I've been focusing more on long form. But the difference isn't quite what I thought it would be. Just because long form was 25 times more profitable per view than short form, I thought that would make more money, but not necessarily, because in my case, I might be different. I'm not sure. I'm open to hearing different ideas if you have seen anything in your experience in the comments. In my case, I think I've spent so long trying to optimize the shorts that when I do make a decent short form video and it gets exposed to sometimes a new audience or an audience that hasn't watched the channel in a while, a video might get 5 million views, 3 million views, something like that. But my views per month go up much more than that because the viewers who go from that video also watch the other videos. So you might get 5, 10, 15 short views if they're good shorts, if they're good videos from the same new viewer or the same returning viewer. So even though I have a video that got 5 million views, it might go up 20 million in a month just from one video. And 20 million views at a 16 cent RPM is like $3,200, which is substantial for many people. Again, I already talked about this, but I still want to mention it again. Some people feel like, you're just talking about money, all you care about is money. But a lot of your favorite content creators, they aren't quite moguls yet. They aren't quite rich yet, depending on how big they are. And there are much bigger levers they can pull to make more money, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But they usually aren't rich yet, and this is usually what they rely on to make good content for us to watch. So, and I know I'm talking to a lot of those types of people in this video, so I'm not approaching this from a greed standpoint, but really a sustainability standpoint of the content creator. So while those shorts do make much less money per short, you can see that they stack on top of each other, assuming you have a lot of shorts. By the way, the same effect also happens if you have a lot of long form content. So if you build this library of content that you have, so if a new viewer finds it, they not only have that new video that you made that they like, but they also have just a series of videos. Like if you find a good TV show that you want to watch and you watch the pilot, you're like, wow, that was really cool. You want to watch the entire series, you usually just don't watch the pilot. You usually only watch the pilot if that was the only good one and it drops off, or they haven't really built out the series yet. So the takeaway lesson there is that even if you're not very good now, spend time building things now. And even if they don't have a lot of viewers now, sometimes all it takes is just one video, a few videos, and then you can really start to ignite your library in a good way. And of course, the short views are easier to get because people can watch them faster. So while it does seem like to be a huge gap per view, and yes, I do want to say that a successful long form content creator that's been here for a while versus a short form content creator that's been here for a while, the long form content creator usually still does make more money. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, closing up. But I just want to point out the very realistic possibility of people making a good living, a sustainable living to provide for your audience and your community with short form videos that they enjoy. Now that said, I just want to close this out by saying that I, despite all of that, have not really built my business off ad revenue because, for better or for worse, I went into content creation, I went into this journey, not as a content creator, which I didn't think would grow the way it has. I went into it as, honestly, at the time, I was trying to make some money on the side because I was taking care of my mom. It's a whole different story. But I wanted to build a business. So I always went into it with the idea of, I will build content and then I'll provide something that people want. And that's a very important thing. If you are a short form content creator and you have some business tendencies, then you can build something where you have a product or something you can offer. Now, this is something we should approach in kind of a sensitive way, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But if you don't have a business sense, then you may want to partner with someone. Be careful who you partner with. That's a separate video, but there's a lot of predatory people out there that look for content creators that don't know any better. They charge them a very high rate, like 50-50, and they do a very minimal amount of work, and they kind of leech off your audience. I know that's kind of a harsh word, and not everyone does this, but there are definitely some who prey on new content creators that are new to the business. They're good at content, but aren't very experienced with business yet, and they offer a very minimal amount of work to take them for a lot of money. So just watch out for that. But you think about ad revenue and why it makes money. Like, why are billions of dollars circulated around ad revenue and sponsorships and things like that? Well, let's say you're watching a fishing channel and your ads that you're seeing are not based solely off that channel unless they have some kind of deal, but they usually have ads that are based on what you usually watch. So you might be interested in fishing, you might be interested in fitness, you might be interested in business. So you might get different types of ads there. However, in that particular day, you might be exposed to an ad that has reached you, but you're not really interested at all in it. You might get a deodorant ad. You're like, I'm happy with my current deodorant. You might get a water ad. You're like, man, I like my current water. I don't need your new water, despite the many benefits that you claim it has. In that sense, both the content creator and the advertiser and YouTube and everyone involved in that has served you an ad that you ultimately aren't interested in, and nobody makes a sale from that. However, think about if that fishing video is a content creator that you like, and they offered something like a chart, a poster of their favorite fishing places in the US, and let's say you live in the US, and this is a fishing guide that you trust. They've been across the US, they know the best spots, and if you buy this, then you know their best spots and you can go there, you can fish. That's something that you might be more interested in, and is more targeted towards their usual viewer. More realistically, they could also come out with a fishing tackle set or something of things that they regularly use and you might be interested in. They could sell that. And because the conversion is much, much, much higher, let's say the deodorant ad only converted like 0.5%, 0.1% of people who watch that, which would be pretty high, I think. That fishing tackle that they're offering, assuming the video is being viewed by loyal viewers, could convert at like 5%, 10% sometimes, depending on the video and depending on the viewers. That is much higher. You as a viewer are happier because you're actually being offered something that you really want, and hopefully is something that's very good. And the content creator is happy because they use their video not just to advertise for others, but now they're advertising something that they know, and they're offering something that they've hopefully worked very hard on and want to provide something of good value to their viewers and their community. This is sometimes abused. So like influencer products are kind of notorious right now, where some people say, well, they're just trying to make money, they're trying to do this. I get that. Sometimes there are not very good products being offered, and you could argue that they have the right to sell them, but you also have the right not to buy them. But influencer products and content creator products, as I would like to call them, are notorious right now. So now more than ever, it's important that that opportunity is still there, but you want to offer something good. Not everyone will like it, not everyone will need it, but you want something that, if you're going to do this, this can help you make a lot more money, for one thing, and have a lot more sustainable, solid business with a stronger foundation when you offer a product that you believe in. But this is really what will help elevate you from being reliant on ad revenue. Regardless of the RPMs of long form and short form, you're usually going to get much more money per view by offering a good product that you believe in that can help the people that are watching your video. Now, the creation of these products can go from very easy to very difficult, and that's something that won't be covered in this video, but it's something we can do in a follow-up. A lot of digital products, like a digital course, an ebook, membership videos, that's a simple one. Those are usually pretty simple for you to do, especially if you're new to business and product creation. It's a whole different skill set. And building physical product like books, a fishing tackle, a fishing rod, think about the complexity that goes into that. Not only do you have to make a good product, but you have to find a manufacturer, you have to find a logistics company, you have to find a warehousing company, or something that manages that for you, that consistently delivers a high quality product in a fast, safe way to the people who buy your product, which is very doable, especially after you get some practice and you get going, but is pretty daunting as a first project. So you might want to start with something simple, a merch line. You know, offering a t-shirt is usually how a lot of content creators dip their feet into this. But I want to talk about this because while this part is harder and digital parts are easier, there's a lot of discussion that we can have around this because people nowadays assume digital things will be free. It's funny because let's say you spend $200 writing a book, and that's like you writing the book, and then you pay $200 to an editor, maybe your friend, to organize the book in a PDF in a way that can be printed. You can do that for $200. And $200 is a solid amount, especially for someone getting started in this. But now you have a book that you can print, and you can offer as an ebook, and you can distribute to thousands and perhaps millions of people. That's relatively simple. But let's say you spent $20,000 on an app, either a web app or a mobile app. And $20,000 is on the low end, depending on the project and complexity of the app that you're trying to make. For the book, a physical copy, a lot of people would expect to pay 20, maybe 30 or more dollars for a physical book, and it costs you $200 plus your time to make. An app or software or even digital course that might have cost you thousands upon thousands, maybe millions of dollars to make, there will be some people who complain about that. And my point of that isn't to only offer physical products, not digital, because that can still help a lot of people. But we should consider, whenever you're watching this video, how we are as a society and what we've been conditioned to. We're just used to a lot of software being free. And it's partially because a lot of social media companies have made very advanced social media technology for us to be on for free, but we are the users that the advertisers are paying them for to advertise to. So you can still offer digital products, you can still offer physical products, but really the crux is that you have to make it good. If it's digital, you might want to spend extra time making it seem special for whoever you're making it for. If it's physical, you want to spend extra time trying to make it as good as possible. I know product development and business and sales, these are all separate skill sets that a content creator may not have, and is a way you can make a lot of money based on shorts or long form, but it can seem pretty daunting. But I want to give you this piece of advice before we close out the video, and that is to put your careful... Sorry about that, I was filming that, and then when we were editing it, apparently the audio went out at that moment, and what a time. Like, the secret to the plan that I spent 17 minutes explaining is... What a time, right? But my advice for people starting on this journey is to give care and consideration into what you are releasing. Be authentic, be genuine, and just be honest with your current ability. You can aim higher, but let people know. Let people know if this is your first time and you're nervous and you want to do well by them. A common issue with people releasing a product or service for the first time, even before the internet, just when they were starting a business in town, is they sometimes try to overpromise and they underdeliver. But when possible, you want to try to communicate what you can reasonably promise and try to over-deliver, especially for your first time. So try to give people even more than what they were expecting. If you're watching this as a content creator or someone who's made videos before or someone who's made stuff before, then you're familiar with the idea that you start off, and even if you have a lot of confidence and excitement around this, you're not that good yet. So if you make 1,000 videos, your first ones probably just aren't going to be as good as your 900th one, your 1,000th one. But people are usually more forgiving of that because they don't pay for these videos they're making if you're just posting them on YouTube or social media. But when you're releasing a product or service, then money is exchanging hands, and that can make expectations a lot higher. Rightfully so sometimes. But what I found is that if you communicate what people can reasonably expect, if you're not completely sure about it, don't overpromise it. Communicate what people can get, and then you try to put your careful care and consideration into developing this thing, and you genuinely try, and you lead with trying to help people. My experience is that people tend to feel that, even if that first thing could use some improvement. If it's your first time making anything, first time making an ebook, it probably isn't worth $1,000. It might be depending on your skills, but it probably isn't for most of us watching this. And if you charge that, the few people that buy it, they might be disappointed. However, if it's your first time creating something and you spend 100, 200 hours making a solid membership course, and you price it at a reasonable price, and you tell people, hey, this is my first time trying to make this. I really want to help people who buy this, and I really want to help people go on this journey and improve. This is my first version of it. Please let me know your feedback. I'd be happy to implement changes and improvements that can help you. People just tend to be a lot more receptive to that because of how you phrased it, because you're open and honest, and because you genuinely actually put care into the product or service that you're releasing, and that, in my opinion, usually shows. Some people might not like it, but you could release something that you think is very good, and that could still be the case. People will have different opinions, and that's okay. And another benefit to this is that this stops yourself from psyching yourself out. I have some friends who are also business owners that I'm talking to, and sometimes they know they have a product idea, something they can create that would both help people and help their business. So it's something they should try to do, but they psych themselves out of it. They say, they think in their minds that they have to deliver this tremendous thing, and they think there's just no way I can build there. But first of all, they can. They just have to get started on it, keep working on it, and improve over time. And they could probably release that, but just be honest about what people can expect. Don't promise the world if you can only give them a small pile of dirt. Hopefully valuable dirt. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this can help you. Have a wonderful, beautiful day, my friend.